Hello everyone. Welcome to Facts You Need to Know channel. A place to share interesting stories of countries around the world. Today we will talk about Japan, a special country. Japan, the land of the rising sun. This is one of the modern civilized powers and possesses the world's most advanced technology. In recent years, Japan has attracted many tourists to visit and travel, because of its diverse traditional culture and beautiful scenery. Speaking of Japan, what would you think of? They are high-quality electronic items, durable Japanese cars, diligent people, or something special? Don't hesitate to leave your comments under the comments section. About geography. Japan is an archipelago, or exactly a chain of islands located on the eastern edge of Asia, so around the country is the sea. The total area of Japan is 379,954 square kilometers, ranking 60th in the world. There are 4 main islands that make up Japan: Hokkaido, Honshu, Shikoku, and Kyushu, accounting for 97% of the country's total area. The main cities such as Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto are all located on Honshu Island. There are also nearly 7,000 different large and small islands. It is estimated that about 70% of Japan is covered by mountains, including a mountain range known as the Japanese Alps, which runs down to the center of the largest island Honshu, with the highest peak being Mount Fuji. The conical volcano is considered sacred by the Japanese. This is also Japan's iconic mountain. Japan also has a very long coastline, ranking 7th in the world. Japan's total coastline spans 34,000 kilometers, including cliffs, hiking trails, coastal towns, and some of the largest international ports in the world. Japan is mostly covered by mountain ranges, so they do not have much land to grow crops. Only about 12.7% of the land area is suitable for agriculture. Most of the agricultural land is found on coasts and islands or in valleys between rivers. About climate. Japan is located in an area with a temperate and subtropical climate. The Japanese climate is mainly monsoon and heavy rain. The north is located in a temperate zone with a mostly cold climate and a lot of snow. Winter will last longer than usual. The south of Japan has a subtropical climate, with not too cold winters, hot summers, and often heavy rains. However, Japan also has 4 distinct seasons. About the national flag of Japan. What is the national flag of Japan? This is definitely one of the most recognizable flags in the world. The national flag of Japan is designed with a red circle on a white background. It can be understood that the meaning of this flag is sunshine of the sun. This flag is also known as Hinamaru. The red circle symbolizes the sun because Japan is located in the east of Asia. This is the direction the sun rises. The white background of the flag symbolizes the honesty and uprightness of the Japanese people. About history, culture, and people. Japan's population of 125 million people is on a downward trend. What is the origin of the Japanese name? In Japanese, the names for Japan are Nippon and Nihon, meaning land of the rising sun. The country is so named because it was the first country to witness the sunrise, since it is known as a land located in the east of China. The Japanese are famous for their hard work. Children are taught to show respect for others, especially their parents and those they serve. They learn to do what's best for their families and their companies, worrying less about their own needs. Japan is also a country with almost no immigrants. Up to 98% are native Japanese. Japanese food has a lot of rice, fish, and vegetables, but relatively little meat with little fat. This diet is very healthy. It helps Japanese people live on average longer than other people in the world. If you come to Japan, you won't be able to miss the most famous traditional dish in this country, which is sushi. Sushi is a traditional Japanese dish, made from rice mixed with vinegar combined with fresh meats, fish, seafood, and vegetables. This is not only a typical dish in traditional Japanese cuisine. Sushi has also become one of the dishes that are particularly popular with diners around the world. The first people are thought to have arrived in Japan around 30,000 years ago, at a time when the main islands were connected to the Korean peninsula by bridges on the mainland. People can walk through here. Calling them land bridges does not mean that people built bridges, but because at that time the sea level was not as high as it is now. In 1543, the first Europeans arrived in Japan with guns and also missionaries. By 1635, Japan's rulers had closed the country to foreigners and forbade Japanese people to move abroad. This isolation lasted for more than 200 years. It created a period of formation and development of very unique features of Japan. As for modern history, you probably already know. Japan entered the war in World War II and was on the losing side. In August 1945, the United States dropped atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, killing about 115,000 people. Now let's come to interesting facts about Japan. Japan is considered a dangerous place because 3 of the tectonic plates that form the Earth's crust meet nearby and often move in opposite directions, creating earthquakes. More than 1,000 earthquakes occur in Japan each year. Most of these earthquakes are minor earthquakes. The intensity of small earthquakes will be hard to feel, but large earthquakes do happen from time to time. Japan has about 200 volcanoes, 60 of which are still active. Okinawa actually has one of the highest rates of centenarians than anywhere else in the world. In fact, for every 100,000 people living in Okinawa, there are 100 people over the age of 100. Many believe that the reason Okinawans have such a long life is because of their diet, and the importance of connecting with the islanders. Kabukicho is a famous red light street in Shinjuku, Tokyo. This is also one of the 10 most famous red light districts in the world. It has a bustling, colorful nightlife with bars. After 6 p.m., the neighborhood seemed to come to life, donning splendid, shimmering shirts until the next morning. This is also the operating hour of dim lights facilities in many different forms. Guests can also sing karaoke in bars where the hostesses are naked, or rent sex dolls or enter massage parlors in disguise. You can also have fun with groups of young girls in Japanese schoolgirl outfits, or watch naked girls behind the glass in big stores, burning all eyes. Japan has the busiest train station in the world. Shinjuku train station is famous for being the busiest train station in the world. Nearly 3.6 million people use it daily, which is a staggering number. Even more astounding, of the 51 busiest train stations in the world, only 6 are not Japanese. The country has about 2,300 hot springs. It is believed that water from this hot spring can treat a variety of ailments. Dogo Onsen, located in Ehime Prefecture, is the oldest hot spring in Japan, with a history of more than 3,500 years. In 1994, this was the first public hot spring in Japan to be recognized as a national cultural heritage. The Japanese believe that hot springs were discovered by ancient warriors and hunters. According to the legend, the hunters followed the wounded animals. They often see animals heading towards these hot springs, as these animals know the power of the onsen to heal their wounds. Japanese Kobe beef is also globally famous. What makes this beef unique? People take care of Kobe cows in extremely thoughtful ways. Cows will be given beer to have a happy, stress-free life, in addition to being massaged so as not to strain muscles. Japan has a very abundant amount of fish. There are higher than normal oxidation levels here, allowing many different species to live in this environment. About 1,000 different species of fish live in the Sea of Japan, and provide the country with a huge amount of seafood. Finally, there is the story of sumo, characteristic of Japanese culture. Japanese sumo is considered a traditional martial art with 1,500 years of history. This land of the rising sun has experienced many events, but sumo still has a strong foothold in its culture. Sumo is ostensibly a traditional martial art, and within it there are performances and religious rituals. Among the many wrestling disciplines, there are many that are divided by weight class, but sumo does not distinguish between weight and has height regulations. In 1994, the Japan Sumo Association required all sumo wrestlers to have a minimum height of 1.73 m. Sumo is considered a noble profession in Japan. So for women, being the wife of sumo is a very proud thing. How does a day of sumo work? Usually in the morning the sumo must fast. Sumo will eat at noon and in the evening. After eating, they will go to bed right away so that the body fat accumulates. Their meal ration will be 4 times that of an average person. With this diet and training, the life expectancy of sumo wrestlers is usually not high. According to statistics, sumo wrestlers are prone to cardiovascular diseases and diabetes due to an unhealthy diet. The average life expectancy of sumo wrestlers is usually only about 60 to 65 years old. This is also the end of the whole interesting story about Japan. The country is known as the land of the rising sun. Thank you for following this story. If you find it interesting, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Now goodbye and see you in the next sections.